Everyone, it is the MU review here for your Manchester United midweek Champions League clash, start of our Champions League campaign, and you might have noticed that we're doing this a little bit later than we would have liked. Scheduling conflicts are our reasoning, but really it's just we couldn't face up to doing this video. I'm just going to let Matt go off. Matt, you watched the game. What was your hot take on our 2-1 defeat in Eindhoven?
Just there seemed to be a lack of passion coming from the guys.
I totally agree.
And I know as much as they'll say they're not going to pin it on the Luke Shaw injury. I mean, you watch one of your teammates, one of your friends, have that done to his leg. It's going to affect your mentality in the game, and we just never bounced back from that, and we didn't show any spine. Yeah. As soon as PSV scored, we just kind of curled up into a ball and said, "Please don't hit us again."
Yeah,
which is exactly what they did. We could have done with a huge kick up the arse, at half time.
I think we could have done with Wayne Rooney to be perfectly
honest.
We
really could have, because Rooney's got, he's got an engine, he's got a passion that very few other people have. I mean, he's one of the only strikers I'll see track back to his own 18-yard line just to make a tackle. Because it wants the ball that badly.
Which is amazing considering the fact that that's something people give him shit for, the fact that he tracks back.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why we love him so much. But
anyway...
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I watched the game as well, and I think we started well. We've started well in most of our games this season, but really the ultimate problem for this one was that when the Shaw injury happened, I mean, there's nothing that could be done about it. I don't blame Hector Moreno for it too much because, as far as I'm concerned, it was a fair tackle. It was a crunching tackle, obviously, but he did get the ball, so I don't blame him for it. I don't necessarily think he should have been carded or anything. It was just an unfortunate thing that can happen in a contact sport. Obviously, with that being said, we can stay on the Shaw injury for a minute. It was absolutely horrific. As soon as I saw the replay, I knew he'd broken his leg. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a damn shame that a player who's been playing so well this season and is really starting to pay back that 27 million that we paid for him last year. And he was on course to be England's #1 left-back at the Euros. And now, he's probably, to be honest, I would say he's 95% not going to be at the Euros. Almost, probably the brighter side of 75% that he's not going to play again this season, and that's a huge blow, not just for us as a club, not for us as a country, but for Luke Shaw as a player. And I was very very upset by that. That really bummed me out. More so than the result, really. I can take a 2-1 defeat away from home in the Champions League on the chin any day. But losing a player like Luke Shaw, that was really rough. But one thing, oddly, that could come out of it, that could, we'll have to wait and see, be a positive, is that as good as he's been with Chris Smalling, I don't think Daley Blind is a centre-back long-term. He's a good defender, he is a good footballer, and that's why he's succeeded at centre-back so far. But I think he can have just as much of an impact from left-back, and I think this gives Marcus Rojo, a left-sided centre-half, a chance to really cement himself in the team. Because, to be honest, up until Shaw's injury, I didn't see how Rojo was getting back in the team, and he's been given his opportunity now, and hopefully he grasps it with both hands and really keeps that unit of a back four together, because I'm worried about it now that Shaw's gone.
I am too. My only issue with putting Blind out on the left is when we've put him out there before, yes, he's a good defender, but he often gets caught for pace, especially by the wingers. I mean, it's less likely to happen when he's playing in the middle one-on-one with the striker, and if it does happen, we hopefully have Chris Smalling there to help cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's out on that island at left or right back, if he gets beat for pace, he's beat, and we're suddenly in the hole. So I think I would rather have Rojo on the left, just because he's got more pace, and he's, I think at times, a little bit more physical.
Oh, he is. Well, at all times, he is more physical than Blind.
So I think, I put him on the left, have him out there to keep pace with them and rough them up before they get the crosses in, and then just have Blind and Smalling in the middle just doing what they've been doing all season.
I mean, for all we know, that could be the plan. Personally, I think that Rojo is a natural centre-half, and Blind, you can argue that he's not a natural left-back, but to be honest, he's not a natural anything.
He's not a natural defender.
He's not a natural anything, as far as we're concerned in our team. So I don't think that playing him at left-back is a problem. I think that the real loss is that we've lost that partnership that Shaw and Depay had formed. But having Blind out there, I think we'll be okay. It's just it's a bummer. It really is. Like I don't know how else to put it. It's not a disaster. I mean, it remains to be seen, but I don't think it's a disaster. I don't think it's something that's going to seriously hinder our chances of achieving our goals for the season. But it bums me out that a player who was playing so well, and a young English player, had to go out like that. But let's move on from it. I mean, moving on from that, it took the game about a good 10-15 minutes to really warm up again after that injury. Understandably, I don't think anybody on the pitch was in the right frame of mind after they saw what happened there. But that being said, Memphis Depay, I mean, that was a really splendid bit of skill to score the goal. He didn't do much for me the rest of the game, but to be fair, not many people in a United shirt did. But that one bit of brilliance, that is why we signed him. That is the stuff that, as he gets further on in his career, as he gets older and more mature and more experienced, that's the stuff that he's going to start churning out on a regular basis, and it's going to be brilliant for us. And he seems to really fancy the Champions League stage, which isn't bad, but I'd like to see him start doing it in the Premier League as well. I just thought the way he took the goal, the way he took it past the defenders, the composure and the finish on the left foot, it was just all very encouraging from our new number 7.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got high hopes for Depay. I mean, I've had him in my fantasy team since day one of this season.
Fantasy Premier League team, no.
just waiting for it, because I'm like, I know he's going to come, and he's showing us flashes of it. I mean, that goal he scored against PSV. I mean, for a second, I thought I was having a flashback and watching a Cristiano Ronaldo highlight from back when he first started playing for United. And, it remains to be seen whether or not he's going to excel to the same level as Ronaldo, but he's going to get up there. I think there's no doubt about it. He's going to be considered one of the best wingers in the world. Maybe, if not the best, but one of the, top 3, maybe top 5, which, not bad.
Yeah. He's a player we're going to get 5-10 years out of easy.
Right, and also he's coming from PSV, so I think, maybe playing at his old stomping ground might have kind of galvanised him a little bit, given him a little bit more confidence than we normally see from him on a week-to-week basis. But I think it was brilliant. Just the sweet little footwork to, from the left to the right foot to get it past the first defender, then from the right to the left foot to nutmeg the second defender. I mean, it was absolutely sublime. I mean, you couldn't design a goal better than that.
Yeah, it was a splendid goal, and it really frustrates me that we didn't kick on from there, because I mean, after that goal, there was a period of about 3 or 4 minutes where it looked like we were going to run away with the game. I thought Memphis could have had a second. I mean, we could have easily been 3-0 up before stoppage time started. But because we didn't put them away, I mean, the irony of all ironies, PSV get a corner in stoppage time, and who goes and heads the ball in the back of the net but the man who caused all the stoppage time by breaking Luke Shaw's leg, Hector Moreno. And like I said, I have no animosity towards Hector Moreno. I just think that is the cruelty of football sometimes. That, the man who, in some people's opinions, not my opinion, in some people's opinions shouldn't have been on the pitch, scores the headed goal in stoppage time that he caused by breaking someone's leg. I mean, you can't really write that kind of stuff. It really is a bit disastrous. And it was also unlucky, I saw De Gea's face as soon as the ball went in, because the header came in and Ashley Young was hauling his arse across the goal to block it, and he looked like he was in a position to get it off the line. But because Blind just sort of nodded it and he didn't really know what was going on, that ended up putting it in, and you just see De Gea, he has this look on his face like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? We were covered. And it was, you can't really blame Blind. He's just trying to get a head on it. He's trying to stop it going in. Yeah. Really, what you can blame is the pedestrian ball watching from the set-piece defending. It wasn't good enough. No,
it wasn't. I also think... I think there may be, from that game, from what I've seen, there seems to be a little bit of a communication issue between Smalling, Blind, and De Gea. I mean, Smalling and Blind, it's not that they've not played together
back at this point as well, don't forget.
Right, it's not that they've not played together before, but, I think, all 3 of them, especially in that, with De Gea in the net and then Smalling and Blind as the 2 centre-backs, that's not happened very often. And I think it's just something that they're gonna have to get used to. I mean, David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but I mean, if you don't have that communication with your back 4, it doesn't matter how good you are. Things are going to get lost in translation and mistakes are going to be made. And that's something that will come with time. I mean, hopefully, this weekend will help us out with that and the following games to come. I have no doubt that it's something that will fall into place quite simply for them. But just for that moment on that night, it did cost us.
Yeah, and moving on through the second half, I mean, the less said about the second half, the better. I was incredibly frustrated watching it because we were dominating, and in all honesty, the only chance that PSV created of their own volition came out of Darmian giving the ball away, and they scored their goal with Narsing. Really bad recovery defending from Rojo and Smalling, and like they all got caught out simultaneously. Narsing, it was about 2 or 3 yards between, like he was in the space between Blind and Rojo, and that shouldn't be allowed to happen. But we got caught out. But the fact that we went 2-1 down shouldn't have been an issue because, like in the Swansea game, we should have responded and we just didn't. And that is the biggest worry about this Man United team, is that at no point during this season have we conceded the first goal in a game. Every game that we've lost, I mean, granted, we've only lost 2 games away from home 2-1, which is a bit better than it was at this stage last season. But we've been in the lead in both of those games, and that ticks me off far more than losing a game 1-0. Like losing a game 2-1, having given away the lead, is far more frustrating than losing a game 1-0. And I think we fizzled out. We really didn't have much in the second half. I thought the best chance we had is when Mata miscontrolled that ball inside the box, and I was so upset with him for that. But the thing that really caught my eye and made me nervous was that we didn't seem to have anybody who could come on the pitch and change the game. When Louis van Gaal was making his substitutions, you know, you're thinking, well, yeah, Fellaini and Young, you know, those are probably the 2 best subs we've got, but that's not good. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I understand Fellaini being our plan B, but I think it's only situational thing where you can use him like that. I don't think that the game... I looked at it and I thought, this isn't a game where putting Fellaini on is going to help anything. I thought we were better off keeping Martial in the game and getting him stretching the defenders the way he was. But bringing Fellaini on, he just stands there. He just stands in the middle of the pitch waiting for service that never comes because Ashley Young can't hit a barn door with his crosses when he's not in form. You know, he's such a hit-and-miss player. And I mean, the lack of impact subs was a big worry for me in this game.
Yeah, you're right. Especially going into the Champions League. I mean, last year it wasn't really an issue for us because we were just playing domestically and we weren't having to worry about continental football. But now that we've got the Premier League, we've got the 2 cup competitions, and we've got the Champions League, our depth is going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. And I think it's something that has to be addressed in January. Like, if we don't address it in January, we're going to start getting hurt, we're going to start getting tired, and we're going to end up in 5th or 6th, and we're not even going to make Europe next year. Because we're not going to have the legs to finish out the season.
And it is a worry in that sense, but it's also it's baffling when you think about how many players we let go in the summer. Like, how many of them could have stayed and been these impact players? Your Robin van Persie's. Now, I understand Robin van Persie left because he didn't want to be classified as an impact sub. But he would have been an option, you know, that could have come on and scored a goal. He was always someone we could rely on to score a goal when we needed it, you know. Obviously, Angel Di Maria, you know, we couldn't really help losing him. I don't think anybody at the club really wanted him to go. I think he was the one who forced that move. But you look at players like that and you think, we've let so much of that quality go without replacing it that we really need to address that, like you said, in January and next summer. I think that one of the real issues that we faced as far as, you know, the squad depth goes is we've got the players that we need. I personally don't think that the solution is to bring in squad players. I think the solution is to bring in those world-class players. Obviously easier said than done, but to bring in your Thomas Mullers, your Gareth Bale, someone who can bump a player like Ashley Young onto the bench, who can bump a player like, you know, as much as I love him, Ander Herrera onto the bench. Because the thing about it is, as good as Ander Herrera is, if you're being honest, if you're a European Cup winning team, Ander Herrera is a substitute in that European Cup winning team, and that is a fact of the matter.
That's the issue.
We can't be sentimental about this. You know, some of these players, as good as they are, they're not world class, and Man United as a team needs to be world class if we want to compete with the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and even going down from that, I think that teams like Juventus, Atletico Madrid, they would handily beat us at this point in time. You know, you saw the mess that Juventus made of Man City. You know, like, and Man City will probably wipe the floor with us at the moment. So we really do need to step it up in personnel in the next couple of transfer windows. But moving on from that, the last point that I really wanted to address that just had me screaming at my television, and I mean, I'm a passionate Manchester United fan. I scream at my television more than any sane man should. But we we were in the final 5 minutes of a game where we looked beaten as soon as we went a goal down, and that is not a Manchester United mentality. No. That aside, we were a goal down. We had brought Marouane Fellaini and Ashley Young on specifically so that Young could cross the ball and Fellaini could head it in the back of the net. We get a free kick 2 yards outside of the box on the the near side close to the corner flag, and I'm thinking this is a perfect spot for Ashley Young to just whip one of those balls in, and Fellaini can, if he doesn't get his head on it, he's going to cause enough havoc to where someone can bundle it in the net and nick a point. That is what we needed. And what do? They do exactly what they'd done 15 times before to no effect in the game. They decide, let's play it short. I was livid. I almost put my foot through the television set when Massa and Young, in the 91st minute, decide that the best option when you've got Fellaini in the box and you need a goal is to play it short. I need you to take over here. I'm so frustrated just talking.
Yeah, no, I was too. I mean, I was getting like odd looks from my neighbours because I was just yelling, effing, and blinding at the TV for the whole last bit of that second half. I mean, and my thing is, it seems to be something we've done a lot recently, where we keep taking these short free kicks, and I'm looking at us. And I'm looking at our squad and looking at some of the dead ball specialists we have, like Depay, Schweinsteiger, Massa, Rooney.
Yeah.
Why, when the ball is placed in a free kick 20 yards away, are we not taking shots? I mean, we're 35 yards out, put Bastion on it. You know he's going to rifle it into the net. You know, Depay can put some wicked curve on it from the wings, as can Massa, and Rooney can just basically do whatever the hell he wants. Yeah. You know, because he's just that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, but yet we're still trying to knock it short, and we're pulling an Arsenal where we're trying to make 1,000 passes before we score a goal. Just get it forward and get it in the net, especially when you're a goal down with minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Don't dick around with it. Just get it forward and get it in the goal and keep moving.
Yeah, we got far too cute with those set pieces, and I mean, I just think that, like you said, it's one of those things where we need to kind of pick and choose our moments for them. It got to a point where we were playing every single corner short, and, you know, it's okay if that's the game plan, you know. If that's the game plan, fine, you know, maybe one of them will come off. Blinn scored off a set-piece routine at the weekend, fair play. But if you're putting Fellaini on the pitch, is Van Gaal not frustrated with those players for doing that? Like, isn't the whole point of putting Fellaini on the pitch to signal to everybody, okay, let's lump the ball in the box, you know? And it just didn't work out for us, and I was... So anyway, moving on, it's hard to pick a man of the match from that performance. From the first half, I probably would have given it to Memphis. You know, he scored the goal, he did what he could. But after the game was over, I just thought, you know, I don't have the heart to give it to anyone, so I'm giving it to Luke Shaw. I think as a sentimental, you know, thing, if nothing else, you know. For the 15 minutes he was on the pitch, he was fantastic. You know, the run that ended up breaking his leg was insane. I thought he was going to score until, you know, the worst possible thing happened. Right. And so I'm giving him the man of the match. I think that he was the only player who I don't hold accountable for the shocking second half. So I give it to Luke Shaw, as tongue-in-cheek as that may sound.
Yeah, no, I had the same issue, you know, through the first 45 minutes I would have put my money on Memphis to be the man of the match, but after the second half, I don't really think there's anybody that deserved it. Me personally, I'd probably give the nod to Chris Smalling. You know, apart from a couple of incidents where he got caught out, but he really, you know,
goals, you mean?
Yeah, where he got caught out, which is unfortunate. Other than that, he was a rock at the back. He was keeping him in line. He was communicating, and I think he just had, you know, he didn't have a great game. He had a good game, and I'm expecting better from him. But I'd give it to Chris Smalling in hopes that it would encourage him to play better in the next game. You know, kind of kick on and think, all right, you know, I can do this.
Yeah, I think he owned the captain's armband quite well. Like I said, up until, you know, we went behind, I thought he really should have done better to rally the troops. But, you know, you can't blame it on things like that. You've got to blame it on other things. But anyway, we've had enough of talking about this game now. Let's move on to this. Let's move on to this Sunday game and just very briefly give a quick preview. We're playing Southampton at St Mary's. Always a difficult game. To this day, almost a year later, I still have no clue how we came away with 3 points there last season. To my knowledge, Van Persie scored both of our shots on target that day, and Southampton got completely robbed. But we got the 3 points, and I would take a repeat of that any day of the week. Personally, for me, I'm looking at it thinking, you know, it's a really tough game to have at this juncture. You know, if you're looking at league form, we responded very well to the defeat against Swansea by getting a very important victory over Liverpool. But now we need to kick on and we need to get another victory against Southampton to really kind of show people, okay, calm down. Yes, we've lost Luke Shaw. Yeah, Rooney's not scoring goals at the moment, but we still are getting results in the way that Louis van Gaal's team has been expected to get results over the last 18 months. I would say that, we've got, obviously, Southampton are a quality team. We have to look out for Graziano Pelle. He's a huge physical presence, which is part of the reason why I would put Rojo in centre-back over Blind and have him and Smalling really rough him up a bit and not let him go. But the areas of the pitch, like I said, where I worry, I would not have been worried about Luke Shaw going up against Dusan Tadic, but I might be worried about Daley Blind going up against Dusan Tadic. Do you have any... And obviously Victor Wanyama is a player that we're going to have to... I mean, with the central midfield that we've got, we shouldn't really be intimidated by anybody in the centre of the park. But if Victor Wanyama gets his foothold in the game, which we shouldn't allow him to do, then he can really do damage. So I'm hoping that we can quell that threat and we can get Rooney firing. He should be back. Get Depay finally getting going in the league and just show some character.
Yeah.
Show some of the character that we've been missing. What are your thoughts on Sunday's match?
Well, I mean, even though Southampton have kind of been a bit up and down so far, you're right. They're always a tough ask no matter
Especially
where you play them. I'm about to say they're always a tough ask no matter where you play them, but especially when you play them at home. So I'm expecting a close run affair. I'm going to be slightly optimistic and go with a 2-1 win for us.
Same as last season.
I'd be slightly optimistic there. But I think, you're right. Tadic and Wanyama, I think, are going to be the two main elements we have to keep an eye on, because I think if whether it's Rojo or Blind on left back, if they can keep Tadic in check, and then what I would do if I was Van Gaal is I would put Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin in for this game, and I would look at Bastion and be like, Wanyama does not get more than an arm's length away from you for this entire game. If that ball hits his feet, get it away from him. I don't care if you've got to go through him to get the ball, get it away from him. And just take him out of the game. Because that's something Bastion has proven throughout the years that he's very, very good at. So I think if we control Wanyama, we keep Tadic nice and quiet, Pell's going to be starved for service, which means we should hopefully be okay.
Yeah.
But again, it's Southampton.
Anything can happen.
Nothing's for certain.
We could lose 3-0 and I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, we could get absolutely hammered and I would not be surprised. I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be pissed off, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, personally, just going off what you said, I think we need Carrick in an attacking sense more than a defensive sense. I think Carrick really does make us tick in that, middle of the park. And if there's a way of fitting him, Schweinsteiger and Herrera into the team the way that we have recently, more power to them. But personally, I wouldn't be adverse to the idea of playing Rooney and Martial if we can. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see how that game goes. As far as RMU review for this game goes, if you enjoyed the video, likes, share it, do all that YouTube stuff that I'm not very familiar with. But yeah, we've been the Nields, and we'll hopefully see you in a better mood on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.